Hey YouTube, Duelist Academy Dax, bringing you a deck profile for Spellbooks, which I've recently completely become obsessed with because they're just so much fun. Like, everything about them is brilliant. Like, I mean, they're quite hard to win with, but they have such overpowered cards. They're just, the archetype is absolutely perfect. Um, they have everything. There's no situation that you can put them in, even playing Beast, like that they can't get out of. It's just they're just fantastic. So I'm gonna give you this deck profile and explain the reasons why I've chosen everything. So 3 strength, 1 prophecy destroyer, 3 high priestess, 1 gauze, 3 temperance, 3 spellbook magician, 2 effect veiler, 2 injection fairy lily, and then heavy storm, 2 MST, and monster reborn. This is just the reason I've done it like this is because the rest of the deck is literally the archetype spell cards and techs which I've added for support. So basically, strength is really good. It recycles your spellbooks. It can boost attacks. It makes High Priestess 3000. It's really good for XYZ summoning. It's really good for synchro summoning with Effect Veiler. It's just all round. You have to have 3 because it's just exceptionally good. So 2000 drop if you've got a spellbook in the graveyard. These 4 are like I've tended in every design that I've made. I've tended to just put these in straight away because Prophecy Destroyer, it might not have like a particularly multi-use effect, and you do lose a lot of your High Priestess fuel when you play its effect, but it's the extra target for Temperance, and its effect can be very unexpected. So I think it's very good for sort of when you're just trying to control things. And plus, if you use Spellbook of Life and banish Effect Veiler to bring back Prophecy Destroyer, it becomes level 7, so you then can use High Priestess effect to destroy a card and make a rank 7 like Hierophant and destroy the back row. High Priestess is just, it's crazy good. I've never seen a card like it. It just, you get it in your hand, you're like, wow, this is great. You know, you don't draw any, you're like, wow, it's great because I've got Temperance and I can bring it out from the deck. It's in the graveyard, you're like, wow, this is great because if I Monster Reborn it or Spellbook of Life it comes back to the field. You've got loads of things you can do with it. It just, I mean, it's summoning being an effect, like, and they can't Solemn Judgment it. It's just, it's really good, and you know, there's so many things about it that are just perfect. It just, I love it. So Gauze because it's Gauze, and also because if you hold back and you drop Gauze on any attack, you then, your next go, if you've got a way to play High Priestess, you can play a rank 7. Then 3 Temperance. Temperance is actually really more for taking back control or like bluffing plays, because it's sort of, because of its effect being that you can't play another level 5 or higher in the rest of the turn. It's sort of quite restricting with what it can do, but it's quite good for just pulling back plays or setting up things so that in your next go you can spam loads of stuff. Spellbook Magicians, the Stratos are obviously 3. It's just generally really good. It baits Veiler really well, and yeah, I really like it. 2 Effect Veiler, which I'm considering putting to 3 because it's a spellcaster, the synergy with the deck and Spellbook of Life, it just makes it really good. So yeah. Then the MVP of what I've realised now of the deck is Injection Fairy Lily. Just being able to play this and have a 3400 drop is just crazy. And with Spellbook of Life, like boosting it to 4400 off 1 drop and then attacking is just like half life points, you know, for 2,000 is just insane. Its effect is just really, really good in the current game. Then obviously staples, because you know nobody likes back row. Then so I've got 3 Spellbook of Life, 3 Spellbook of Secret. Sorry, it's basically the search out of the deck. It's Toon Table of Contents for any Spellbook card, so it can add this, but it can add any Spellbook as well. 3 power, because it can boost everything in the deck by 1,000, even Injection Fairy Lily, and it makes High Priestess 3,500. It's just generally extremely good. Then you've got Spellbook of Life, which is it's not Premature Burial. It's in this deck. It's actually better than Premature Burial. It's I can't believe that this card has been made. It literally, it will win you games. Like it is like having 4 Monster Reborn in the deck. It just ultimately is. It's the core card which will get hit if this deck becomes really good. Then my last 2 spellbooks, so I've got 11 spellbooks in. Is Spellbook of Wisdom. It's Forbidden Lance for spellcasters, and it sets up like when you're trying to make plays. It's really good for defense, and it protects you from like sort of being randomly dark holed or any bullshit like that. So it's quite good in that respect. Then my little fun tech that I have is 2 Reasoning. A lot of the monster levels are different, and being able to just sort of go Reasoning, and the majority of people will say 4, and you hit like High Priestess or you hit Injection Fairy Lily, and you just, it's so funny because you can win the game from just being able to do that. Then 2 Magical Dimension. I did have 3 in, but it was getting quite dead all the time, and like you really only use it sort of if your monster's getting targeted or something like that. But what I have found is like it's quite good when you're holding, say, High Priestess and Spellbook Magician, and you use Spellbook Magician, you summon it, you get its effect, and it gets effect valid. You then chain Magical Dimension, so that Spellbook Magician goes to the graveyard. You play High Priestess, you destroy one of their monsters, and then you still get to search because Spellbook Magician is now in the graveyard. So you kind of, it's quite good in that respect for the deck, and it's got quite a lot of uses. So Wonder Wand, again, is another reason, like sort of if you keep getting like everything keeps getting effect valid or something like that, it's good to just sort of hold it back and like sort of summon this effect valid. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Play Wonder Wand, draw 2 cards. You've set up your life for your next go because you've got a monster in the graveyard, and stuff like that. And it's also good for this, like gets effect valid. You just Wonder Wand it and draw 2 cards, or you know, even when you play this, you get the +1, and then you Wonder Wand it, so your opening hand is 7, which is pretty insane. Then my last 3 cards are 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device. I don't run any traps except for these because it just feels like the deck just does not need them at all. You're pretty much relying on controlling and maintaining your field presence. So, like compulsory, it really pulls decks back. Like heroes, it fucks them because like they can only play, like they play their 1 monster, and then they sort of like if they play Stratos, then you bounce their Stratos back to their hand. It doesn't really matter if they add Bubble Man because they can't really get rid of the Stratos from their hand. So it drops them back a turn. It's really good. Well, generally the meta at my locals it works really well. So yeah, that's the deck profile, and I'll let you know how I do this Sunday. Thanks very much.